Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with you. We've got Jean Miller, who is superintendent of Central Christian, and Sarah Ressler and Kevin Pacho, both seniors who are very involved. And Sarah, we were talking about the music program and that huge choir of all the Mennonite schools. And a final thought, just the experience itself, and have you formed some friendships with some of these other schools through this experience?
A little bit, yes, I would say. I think one of the coolest things about that experience is actually when we go, we stay with host parents. There'll be families that oftentimes have other kids who are in the choir, or they're just churches that are supportive of the Mennonite schools in their area. People there take us into their homes, and you get to make some cool experiences and relationships with those people when you go, living with them for a few days.
Very cool, yeah. Kevin, I understand you are All-American in soccer. Congratulations for that. First of all, tell us about the season.
The season went really well this year. We had one loss, and that was in the state finals. And it was just really fun, like, connecting with all the guys from the team and forming a bond that grew over the season.
Do you play other Christian schools? Do you play public schools? What division are you in?
We're Division 3. That's like the smallest division. And we play both some private schools and other public schools too.
Okay. You all play some of the schools from up here, right? I think some of the Christian schools play each other. You play Lake Center, you play Heritage, do you?
I don't think we play Heritage.
Used
we play Canton Central Catholic.
Do you?
And St. Thomas.
Wow. Very cool. All right. How many students, Gene, attend?
Total school is 340. 340. High school's about 130, 140 range. So we're just a very small school.
But everybody's so talented. So it seems like you must get to do a lot of things because there aren't that many people, so you almost have to do everything, right?
Yeah.
Do you participate in other sports?
I also do basketball.
Tell me about basketball this year.
This year, we're doing okay, but it's been fun. Like, just because a lot of soccer guys also do basketball. Just like continuing our relationship and getting to know the guys. That's great.
For both of you, the fact that you get to do extracurricular activities, where do you see that as playing a part in developing the total person? And Jean, feel free to jump in here as well, because I'm sure that's part of it.
I mean, I think that's really important for the well-rounded individual. It's really neat to be able to be involved in lots of things. Like, especially with the choir, like, nearly everyone is in choir, so people like Kevin here who are athletic and at a lot of schools would be seen as, like, the jocks, and people, like, they are still involved in music. Like, everyone's in choir. It's abnormal if you're not, actually. And just being able to do all those things, it makes you a lot well-rounded, which is good, looks good on college applications and for jobs later in life.
Kevin, would you agree with that?
Yes. And also, like, with the extracurricular, it helps you also in school, like, time management, helps, like, create those things, and helps you, like, develop relationships that could last you a lifetime.
Oh, definitely. Are you looking at colleges?
Yes.
Have you guys decided where you're going to go?
I have not decided yet.
Who's in the running to snap you both up?
For me, I'm looking at College of Worcester, Geneva College, and Mount Union.
And majoring in?
Engineering.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, good. And how about you?
I still have 4 colleges that are in the running. I'm looking at Eastern Mennonite University, Goshen College, Wheaton, and Mount Vernon.
All good schools. So what's left for to make that final decision? What would they have to do to sway you?
Right now, I'm just looking at financial things with the school and maybe, like, going there one more time just to try and get a feel of the, like, how the university, like, mood is. Like, you can generally tell that way, and then I'll probably make my decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree. The feel of it is really important, also financial, and for me, the music program being a good program is also important there.
I'm guessing that an awful high percentage of your high school graduates go on to college, Jean.
Yeah, I think it's usually about 95%.
My goodness.
So it is a high group, but we do believe the extracurriculars is important in that the most important thing that happens when a student goes through is not necessarily their academic world, but their character world. it's character that determines whether somebody will be successful or not. So their work ethic, their ability to work into community, their honesty, their integrity, that's really what decides whether somebody's successful. And to learn information can happen anywhere. We think it's important, but the discipline of learning is more important.
Mm-hmm.
So those are...
That's good. We've heard about music. We've heard about a couple of the sports. What else do you offer? Is there a drama department?
Yeah, I think Sarah could talk about the drama department. She's also involved with that.
Okay.
They were talking about that coming here, trying to talk Kevin into joining the drama program. He was not ready to
being
do
on a
that.
play? It's a great way to meet girls, Kevin. Okay.
Yeah. No, we do. We have a pretty good drama department. Our director is Michael Omsteds, and he really pours a lot of his time and energy into it. He spends countless hours outside of practices even, figuring stuff out, getting set ready, and lots of different things.
What plays have you done? Have you performed in?
Well, I've been in every one that's happened since I was in high school, so lots of them. But the ones I had bigger roles in, like right now, we are working on The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, fun.
And last fall we did Anne of Avonlea. Then last year, I don't even remember which ones were which year.
Have you had favorite parts or favorite plays you've been in?
My favorite would probably be my sophomore year. We did Mary Poppins. I was the bird lady in that. That was a lot of fun, just because musicals, I think, are even more fun because it pulls in the musical aspect that I love as well. And I got to be in the pit for parts of it, and then also sing a little as the bird lady. And then
the prettiest song of all of them. Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's fun.
And then another favorite would probably be this past fall when we did Anne of Avonlea, because I got to be Anne in that. So that was fun to have a bigger role and just be able to do a lot more work with that. And also we had a lot of new freshmen coming in that had some bigger parts in that, so I got to do some mentoring with them and help them get into that.
You both have mentioned time management. Let's talk about that. How in the world do you do all that you do? I mean, my goodness, you're saying you had the lead in the play, you're in several choirs, you're in instrumental orchestra as well, and I think you go to class because you're an honor student. So how do you manage your time? How do you do it?
For me, I think a big part is not procrastinating, and in the actual classes, oftentimes teachers give you time to work on stuff, and so just not wasting that time. But I will say there are times in my life where what suffers is my sleep instead of everything else, which might not be healthy, but
You learn how to work that in.
Right.
How about you, Kevin?
I have to agree with her on a lot of those things, like working hard in class and giving, but also when you're at home, trying to free yourself from distraction, push those away, and then push through your homework and get it done, or you're studying.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about the fact that there certainly is a spiritual growth component to school, to why you're at Central Christian. And Jean, I'm going to let you address it first. How do you integrate faith and learning?
Well, all education is religious in some form, so we have to recognize that everything we teach has a Christian foundation, and it should be integrated through. And I've often said, even if we don't have Bible classes, it should be clearly a Christian school. But we do have Bible classes that you take each year. But you also have chapel that meets every week, and we have our community growth that happens through Heart of Central. We set 20 minutes a day aside where each student meets with mentors, and so those groups end up being 8 to 12, 8 to 13 in a group, and then the teacher meets with them, and they go through certain curriculum. They do some things as a class, but they try to help students understand what it means to be a Christian leader, what it means to work together, what it means to be a servant. So those things are all important. We try to have speakers in chapel that will come and challenge, but also deal with many of the current issues that are happening, and how do you address them from a Christian faith perspective. We also see that service is important, so we make time in the Heart of Central life in the curriculum for students to serve. Seniors do not just a senior class, but they do a senior trip in the fall where they go to Pittsburgh and they serve in the inner city. And that's an important part of their life, and they may want to talk to that. They haven't had their senior class fun trip at the end of the year, but these two know a little bit about what happens in the service.
You've already done the inner city service, both of you. Tell me about that experience.
It was really neat. I think both of us worked with the Pittsburgh Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, it used to just do the Pittsburgh Project, and this year they split us between 3 different organizations. But the Pittsburgh Project is one that sends people out. They go and interview people who need some help repairing things on their house, and they pick out the people who they think would really need it, and then they go and they take groups and fix up their homes. But they really emphasize building a relationship with the homeowner, and that taking time to sit down and talk to them is more important than the work, and doing that some.
How did it affect you, Kevin?
It's kind of eye-opening. Like, you go in there not knowing what to expect, and you expect to see run-down homes or people on the side of the street, but it wasn't really any of that. And you expected them not to be the kindest people, but my homeowner was really kind, invited us in and offered and wanted to feed us and help us out anyway. He had snacks laying out for us to have and put water out. He was just so happy to see us and his smile, because he was struggling. He was on a respirator because he couldn't breathe very well.
Would both of you say that your experience by being students at Central Christian has led to your growing more spiritually, growing in faith?
I'd say definitely yes.
In what ways?
Lots of ways. I mean, having the daily chapel is a daily reminder of, this is something that I believe in, this is something that I want to do in my life, and just those reminders and challenges. But even just the teachers incorporating it in. I distinctly remember when I was taking AP Bio last year, our teacher Jolene spent a whole class period where we just sat down and we discussed how people hold evolution and the Bible together and how those relate, and working your faith into that. And I think it's really neat that a lot of the teachers do that with the curriculum. They say this is maybe what the world believes, and when we look through it with Christian eyes, this is how we see it and how we hold those things together.
How about you?
Yeah, the chapels every day really help, a reminder, but also, get you to think. I still remember a chapel from my freshman year, I think, and all he did just stood up front and just said, "It's not about you," for 20 minutes, and that's really stuck with me.
Have you read The Purpose-Driven Life?
No, I haven't.
First line in it. Yeah, so I'm guessing he had just read it. Yeah, and you know what? If you read that first line, that's all you have to read of A Purpose-Driven Life. It's not about you. Why was that so eye-opening for you?
I mean, just a good reminder that, we often get focused, the society tells us all about us, all about our happiness, but we should be helping others, making others happy. Others' happiness will lead to our happiness, too. And, it kind of goes with me now, saying I get these awards for soccer, but I have to remind myself it's not about me. It's about the others around me and helping them.
What has been being a part of a team and something bigger than yourself meant to you?
It means, putting them before me. It's not about, if I score the goal or I get the stats. It's about us winning the game as a team, or us competing hard and trying our best. And even if we do lose, we can look back and say, we tried our hardest.
Tell me, I want to ask you about the teachers. I want to ask you about the students. So tell me, what is best about the teacher? I know you get to call them by their first name, and that's cool, but tell me something a little deeper about the teachers and what they've meant to you in your years there.
I mean, I'd say mostly just how much they pour into you. It's so obvious that they want you to succeed. They always say, if you don't understand this, they're always willing to talk to you outside of class. And in class, they take time to make sure that every student understands. They care about each one. And I think that's very important for a lot of people.
And add on to that, it's their approachability, too. Some teachers even give me their phone number. If I have any, questions, I can just text them personally and ask them, and they'll reply very quickly.
So you've gotten to use that, and it works.
Yeah, occasionally, yes.
And it's really their text. They are That's very, very cool. That kind of relationship can mean so much more, and I think you'll find out in years to come how you think back on certain teachers and different things that they said to you. It sticks with you. It's amazing. Jean, tell me about the students. What's so special about them?
Well, I think the students are geared towards making other students successful. We have our seniors that truly do care about the freshmen, and we have our student council group works with the middle school. They arrange on a regular basis to pair off with middle school students and do something with them during their lunch period or during their extended lunch period. I see freshman students being brought in and welcomed. I see students who may struggle with some disability that are accepted in a very caring way. You're not looked down on at all if you can't do something as well as someone else. You're brought in as one of them. It's a wonderful community from that perspective. Mm-hmm. I think that was my biggest surprise in coming here. And that has a lot to say or a lot to do with our teachers. The caring, the longevity, the desire to make each student successful is passed on to the students, and then the students' desire to make others successful.
In a day and age where we hear so much about bullying, cyberbullying, and so forth, Central Christian sounds like a breath of fresh air when you're describing this community. If I were to ask each of you, tell me in one word, best thing about Central Christian. Sarah.
Probably community.
Kevin.
I would say community also.
And it's okay to repeat. And Jean.
Service.
Well, Jean Miller, Sarah Ressler, Kevin Pacho, thank you so much for joining us on our community.